So I've got an idea, and it's either going to turn out really awesome or incredibly bad. All right, so to give you guys a little bit of an update from the last video, you saw we finished these walls here, got all the trim done, windows trimmed out, upper and lower trim, and then off camera I went ahead and finished all of the shiplap siding in between and above the garage doors. And boy, I tell you, once I got that done, it just really made these garage doors stand out. Now, we insulated these a few years ago with just our 7.5 pink board, which is 1.5 inches thick, and it fits perfectly in between the little recess gap that you have there in between the panels. Problem is, it's super ugly. It does an awesome job of insulating garage doors, install is a breeze, but it makes them look really junky, especially when you've taken the time to finish off the inside of the walls. So what we're going to try to do today is have the garage doors as closely match the walls as we can. My original thought was, well, I'll go down to the sawmill and I'll mill some real thin, some 1/4 inch material that'll match this. This stuff is about 7/8 of an inch thick. But to keep the weight down, I was going to mill some real skinny stuff. And then I got to talking to neighbor Doug about it, and he said, why don't you go get some floor underlayment, like some Luan or something that's 5 millimeters thick or something, and just cut that into panels and get that on there. So I went over to Home Depot and was looking at floor underlayment, and on my way there I saw somebody with a cart with 1 or 2 of these pieces, and I thought, that's interesting. So I went back to go look at that, and sure enough, the Luan was $30 a sheet and this stuff was $20 a sheet, and I thought that this matched our shiplap siding better than just the Luan plywood would. So that's the story on that. Oh, and there was only 6 pieces left, and that's exactly how many I needed to do this project. So it was almost kind of meant to be. So we are going to get started on hanging this and see how it turns out. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to turn out good or not. We're going to give it a try and, pray for the best here. Now, because we're still going to use this as a functioning garage door, when we cut those sheets down, we need to cut them into panels and still separate out the panels so that the garage door can still pivot and hinge at each of these panels to get up and over the radius to open and close. And because of that, we're going to need to leave a little bit of a gap in between the panels so it has room to compress. And that's going to expose the white of the garage door, which is going to look really junky. So to try to hide that a little bit, we're going to use a little bit of brown spray paint and cover that up so that you won't quite see that in between the panels. All right, guys, there we go. One door down, two more to go. One there, and we have a third garage door over there. That one doesn't have windows in it. But first impressions, that took a lot longer than I thought with all the notching we had to do on every single panel. There wasn't a single panel in here that I could just throw up there and not have to worry about notching out. So it took about 3 hours. But my first impressions are, I really like it. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe you think it looks cheesy. Let me know down in the comments below if you like it or if you think it looks cheesy. Kind of reminds me of the wood paneling down in my grandpa's basement growing up, or if you remember the old Woody wagons back from the 70s and 80s. But yeah, this paneling is made up of nothing but just what feels like a compressed cardboard. If you look, the edge at the seam broke off here, and you can kind of see how it rips off like cardboard. But the pro to that is that it is super lightweight, and as you saw, it doesn't affect the performance of the garage door at all. If we were to have used 1/4 inch plywood, I mean, 1/4 inch is still pretty light, but it would have been significantly heavier than this and put more strain on the motor and the joints and everything. So I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. Now, the one thing I will say, with it being so lightweight and so flimsy, putting the track saw on there to cut it didn't really work. It just wasn't rigid enough to put the track and the saw and push the saw down the track to cut it. So as you saw, we ended up breaking out the table saw. And normally I can't cut a 4x8 sheet of plywood on my job site table saw, but again, this stuff is so lightweight, it was easy to manhandle it, keep it nice and snug up against the fence to cut it. So that ended up working out the best for us, was just running all this stuff through the table saw. So what do we have into this door? Well, this garage door is a square 9 foot by 9 foot. And to get started, you're gonna need 2 full sheets of the 1.5 inch pink foam board that has an R value of R7.5. And if we didn't have windows in our garage door, we probably would have needed a 3rd sheet to cover that 5th panel there. But you know, with the windows there, we're just gonna leave that uninsulated. That'll be a spot that, you know, some cold gets in. It is just a workshop, so it doesn't need to be super airtight, but just something to consider. You might need 3 sheets depending on the size of your door and whether you have windows or not. But that pink foam board is about $35 a sheet right now. I remember 2 years ago when we bought all that foam board to do the rest of the garage that you see behind me, that was like $20 or $24 a sheet. Now it's $35 a sheet. So 2 sheets for the garage door, that's $70. And then the wood paneling, or the faux wood paneling, was $20 a sheet, and we needed 2 of those as well. So that would bring us to $110. And then I had another $10 in a 100 count box of self-tapping screws for hardware. So that brings our total to $120 plus 3 hours worth of my time. I really think that's pretty good. If you were to go out and price an insulated door with wood texture on the inside, I don't know. I think you're gonna have some sticker shock. So while this might be the country hillbilly way to insulate and finish the inside of your garage door, when you compare it to just the insulated garage door, I think it's night and day better. I think it actually looks fairly professional, and I'm pretty happy with it. Again, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So I am standing in the center of the garage right now, and I wanted to do a quick pan just to show you that we are now over halfway done with the garage. So this corner right here where the wood stove is, we've got 8 feet on that side of the wood stove. This entire wall is done. This entire wall is done with the exception of the garage door. I'm going to finish that tomorrow. And then we still have to finish this wall here, that garage door, a little bit up and above and around that door, and behind the workbench, and that brings us back. But from this corner to this corner, all on this side, is pretty much done with the exception of that garage door, and that would get us over halfway done. But man, I tell you what, this is like my dream shop here. I'm just thrilled to death with how this is turning out. Another question that came up quite a bit in the last video was how much material did we have left over? Of the stuff that we milled ourselves, we have 6 of the shiplap boards left. We've got 4 of the 11 footers and just 2 of the 7 footers. And then we've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 of the 2x3 studs that we use to build the wall out. So yeah, we came pretty darn close to running out. Anyway, I think that's going to about wrap this one up. If you guys enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.